U.S. election, what time will the winner be announced? Find out when polls close, when to expect state results, and the earliest time we could discover who the winner is. Americans are going to the polls to elect the 45th U.S. President, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. The first polls will close at midnight UK time, 0 o'clock GMT/1900 hours EST, with the first projections from states following shortly afterwards based on exit polls. Sky News special coverage starts 2 hours before, at 10 p.m. The winning candidate needs 270 of the 538 Electoral College votes to clinch the keys to the White House. The earliest time the election could be called for one of the candidates by U.S. TV networks is likely to be around 4 a.m. UK time. Both the 2008 and 2012 elections were called for Barack Obama at around that time. Here is a list of the timings for polls closing on Election Day, UK time. Midnight. Georgia, 16 votes. Indiana, 11 votes. Kentucky, 8 votes. South Carolina, 9 votes. Vermont, 3 votes. Virginia, 13 votes. Mrs. Clinton will expect to win in Virginia and Mr. Trump needs to win Georgia to have a realistic chance of re-election. If Mrs. Clinton wins the latter, we could be looking at a landslide. Coming soon after will be North Carolina and Ohio, 2 toss-up states. Ohio is among the friendlier swing states for Mr. Trump. Again, if he loses here, he is in trouble. North Carolina will be a real indicator for the night. A strong lead for either candidate would bode well for them, while a very tight race could indicate that it will be a very long night. North Carolina, 15 votes. Ohio, 18 votes. West Virginia, 5 votes. 1 a.m. Alabama, 9 votes. Connecticut, 7 votes. Delaware, 3 votes. District of Columbia, 3 votes. Florida, 29 votes. Illinois, 20 votes. Maine, 4 votes. Maryland, 10 votes. Massachusetts, 11 votes. Mississippi, 6 votes. Missouri, 10 votes. New Hampshire, 4 votes. New Jersey, 14 votes. Oklahoma, 7 votes. Pennsylvania, 20 votes. Rhode Island, 4 votes. Tennessee, 11 votes. Mr. Trump must win Florida, but the polling shows it to be an incredibly tight race. If he loses, he's toast. New Hampshire and particularly Pennsylvania are on the other end of the spectrum. Mrs. Clinton could be floundering if she loses either. Maine is unusual in that it splits its vote, with 2 votes allocated according to the statewide results and 2 decided by the winner in each congressional district. The 2nd district looks like a toss-up, and, while it's just 1 vote, in a close race it could be vital. Arkansas, 6 votes. 2 a.m. Arizona, 11 votes. Colorado, 9 votes. Kansas, 6 votes. Louisiana, 8 votes. Michigan, 16 votes. Minnesota, 10 votes. Nebraska, 5 votes. New Mexico, 5 votes. New York, 29 votes. North Dakota, 3 votes. South Dakota, 3 votes. Texas, 38 votes. Wisconsin, 10 votes. Wyoming, 3 votes. Michigan, Minnesota and Wisconsin are all part of Mrs. Clinton's firewall. None has voted Republican since 1992 and the polls show her ahead in all of them. But their demographics suggest they could be susceptible to Mr. Trump's brand of anti-establishment populism, and if they do fall for the Republican, it may be all over. Arizona, meanwhile, is an example of Mrs. Clinton reaching into a Republican stronghold. The high proportion of Hispanic voters put off by Mr. Trump has put the state potentially within the Democrats' reach. Colorado is another key state for Mrs. Clinton. The polls have shown the race to be close, but the high proportion of educated voters should edge it for her. 3 a.m. Iowa, 6 votes. Montana, 3 votes. Nevada, 6 votes. Utah, 6 votes. Iowa was won by Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012, but its large base of white working-class voters has swung it into Mr. Trump's column. But Mrs. Clinton will have high hopes for Nevada, with early voting from its large base of Hispanic voters giving her an advantage. 4 a.m. California, 55 votes. Hawaii, 4 votes. Idaho, 4 votes. Oregon, 7 votes. Washington, 12 votes. This is earliest the election could be called. It was around this time in the morning Barack Obama's re-election was announced in 2012, but in a close run race it could extend far further with recounts possible. 6 a.m. Alaska, 3 votes. U.S. election, polling and battlegrounds. Once the election is called, the defeated candidate will call the victor to concede the presidential race, before both make speeches to their supporters. But there is a possibility that the result could still not be known at the end of Election Day, as happened with George W. Bush and Al Gore in 2000. If the result is too close to call without counting every vote, or if legal battles over election procedures are taking place, it could delay the result or force a recount. U.S. election, the states that will decide the outcome. But if neither candidate has a majority of Electoral College votes, the result would be sent to the House of Representatives. Delegations from each state would then cast one vote, with the candidate winning the most states declared the winner. This has happened on 2 occasions. Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr failed to win a majority of Electoral College votes in 1801. After 36 successive votes in the House, Mr. Jefferson was declared the winner. John Quincy Adams beat Andrew Jackson on the first ballot in the House in 1824, despite losing the popular vote.